it will take
Offer it. Okay.
yeah with yourself. Hello, namaste, and welcome back to the YouTube live of Dishainaustralia. We are gonna go live on Varuni Radio soon, and today we have a special guest on board, and this is the finale episode of Dishainaustralia, which is so sad. Everyone should cry. But here we have Yunbin on board. Yunbin, would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, hello YouTube, I guess. My name is Hyunbin, and I am a really good friend of her. That's a really good part of my CV, being good
Yeah.
friends with Keisha.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's a mandatory condition.
It really is, honestly.
Yeah, if you want to come here, you should be friends with me.
Obviously, yeah.
But he has recommended so many amazing guests, and like, he's also responsible for half success of the show in Australia.
Aw, nice.
And that's why he's at the finale episode.
Aw.
Sangbin, we miss you. Okay. So we'll be taking one YouTube Instagram promotion, and then we'll be live.
Yeah. Remember to tag me, okay?
Yes, I will definitely. A little bit according to the camera frame. I wish to cover this light.
There we go.
Hello, namaste, and welcome back to Dishainaustralia. Unfortunately, this is the finale episode of Dishainaustralia, and everyone is super sad. But today we have Yunbin on board. Today we'll be discussing about Dishainaustralia's journey and then Yunbin's journey as well. So Yunbin, would you like to introduce a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name is Hyunbin. I'm currently studying International Relations and Arts, and I'm very excited for today's episode.
Yeah, I'm very excited too, but at the same time, I'm a little heartbroken. So please tune into Varuni Radio, probably the last time this year. Okay, I'm just gonna post it so that people
take your time. Yeah. Because I thought the podcast would start like 6 p.m. straight.
No, we don't start at 6 p.m. straight because like there have to be some promotions.
Yeah, intermission.
Otherwise, no one knows that it's happening except for the people who are genuinely passionate about my show. Unfortunately, this is I'm sad. This is the first time I'm sad on my show.
Don't.
It should get uploaded soon, so we can start now.
Yep.
I forgot to paste the link. Never mind. I should post the link. Hello. Namaste. And now I have to copy paste the link. Sorry, this is
No. Take your time.
A bit unorganized because I'm late today. Whenever I'm early, there's always the one who comes before me, and he always takes 6:15. So I'm actually wondering, where are those guys? Okay, you should have gotten the story now. Hopefully. It's uploaded from my end. Okay, let's get started.
Yep.
Right.
We would like to acknowledge the Ngunnawal and Ngambri people, who are the traditional custodians of the land on which Varuni is created. We pay respects to elders past, present, and emerging. We acknowledge that the name Moroni was taken from the Wadi Wadi nation without permission, and we are striving to do better for future reconciliation.
I'm telling you. I'm
Aw.
super sad about it.
Oh, God damn it.
Welcome to the finale episode of Disha in Australia. So today we have a very special guest on board again, as we always have. All my guests are super special. So today we have Yunbin. Yunbin, would you like to tell a bit about yourself?
Well, hello everyone. My name is Hyunbin Ryu. I am currently studying international relations and Bachelor of Arts, majoring in development studies, and I'm just very excited to be on my first ever podcast.
Is this your first podcast?
Yeah, I've never like recorded like something like this. I guess like well, this you are literally the first time actually inviting me to something like this. Honestly,
Oh my god.
yeah. So I'm really humbled.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you for accepting the offer.
Mhm.
And I have sent this offer to him like ages ago.
It really was like a while ago. Yeah.
um, so I think I was discussing this yesterday with one of my friends from ISC
Mhm.
that majority of people that are guests on my show in the show in Australia are not like the people that are very, very, they have big titles or like,
Mhm.
you know, at Anusa as their president or something, or like very big personalities.
Mhm.
And it's like true representation of international students
Mhm.
because all over my show there have been people who are literally the representation of us,
Mhm.
how our life is, and not being fancy at all. So Hyunbin is also part of it. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for coming. Okay, so today's episode of the show in Australia, first of all, it's a finale, so we are sad. So
Mhm.
have you ever seen any episode of the show in Australia
Like
before?
unfortunately every so thankfully
Finally, he made it.
finally yes.
So, Yunbin has actually been the reason for a lot of guests on the show in Australia. So, we are grateful for that. Thank you so much. And his recommendations have been absolutely wonderful.
No, I just like recommended like some good people, you know. They're not
Yeah.
yeah. I'm
And
really
he's
glad
like,
that like everyone liked it here, you know.
yeah. And he's like, I only know cool people.
No. Well, honestly, everyone on ANU are cool. Like, you know, like international we're not, but like I really love everyone here. I really love like the environment here. It's really different from where I come from.
Mhm.
And I just generally believe everyone's fundamentally cool here.
True. I think Australia is so different, and the uni life here is like so different from what I had in India
Mhm.
because I was just there till my high school,
Mhm.
and I can definitely say it was not like this. It here it's like much more chill, and
Mhm.
people are here to support you, not to like bring you down or
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
degrade you,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool, and I really like the atmosphere here.
Like I very agree with that because like from where I'm from, by the way, I'm from South Korea. Well,
Yeah.
as it's like infamously known, like South Korea is a very competitive society, and I had to go through all of their entire education system of there, all the way up to high school, and it really, I could really feel even my close friends are trying to like drag each other's down, but like even here in Australia, it's like they really, I kind of feel like they focus more on like cooperation and like community building, and that's what I really like about Australia.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And even in the job sector,
Hmm.
I think I never worked in India because
Mm.
it's not a common culture there. But here it's like so common to work.
Mm.
And when I started working, I felt that there would be like, some hierarchy difference and
Mm.
stuff like that. But to be honest, there's nothing like that. Like my manager does everything,
Mm.
and you can never tell that if it's a manager or it's a casual
Mm.
because their positions are like so same, and you can never tell the difference, and they'll not force you to do something, and they'll be like very chill with you.
Mm. Well, occasionally there, it's well, Australia is not always perfect in like the working market, but
Yeah.
like I've also experienced here in Australia, like casual or like full time. Sometimes like bars so Australia with their like working laws and like their availability to like any type of flexibility in that. Maybe like a potential casual job maybe during the break, but like I might just go back to Korea. I really haven't decided. It's not my current number one priority,
Mhm.
but like it'll be cool if I really do get that experience.
When I came to Australia, I never thought I'll like. I mean, I knew in the back of my head that I have to do a job because obviously international conversions so high.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't work in my first semester,
Mm.
and it was a pretty chill semester.
Mhm.
But then in the second semester, I finally thought, okay, maybe let's give it a shot. And I got a job from a recommendation because my friend was leaving, so she needed to replace some
That's
her
really cool. Yeah.
with someone, and I'm so grateful because I think for my first job it has been the best experience because most of people are like their managers are so shit and stuff, but my manager is so cool. I can say that. And but it also depends on the type of job that you do. I think I have also heard the cases where managers are like super mean.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like there's always two sides of the coin.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, and like any like for international students like us, it's really hard to actually kind of like even find like a job out there and like
Yes.
really learn all about like what kind of laws that Australia have. Like even basic things like minimum wage, it's gonna very different from like what I've experienced back in Asia. So like it'd be really cool if like like ANU did like education programs for like careers. I know that they have like they provide like working with vulnerable people cards and like the responsible service of alcohol programs, but I believe it's only under like ANUSA and like it's really limited and it's only limited in like one session.
Mhm.
And like considering the fact that well internationals really need money, we pay so much for this university.
Yes. It's almost
Yeah, I guess
15K.
like expanding those kind of like programs would be so cool to actually see from now on.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with
Mhm.
that because I know that getting a job as an international student is like so hard. Like you distribute your resumes
Mhm.
like pamphlets to different shops.
Mhm.
Please hire. And I know I have been through that. My friends have been through that,
Mm.
and it is really hard to get a job as an international student, and
Mhm.
that too, you can find a casual, but like
Mm.
a really good job that you look forward to. It's like a lot of patience is required, a lot of
Mm.
hard work is required to do that.
Mhm. So like even for like anything like here in Australia, well, to be fair, Australia is a very laid back country. But like if you really want to succeed in this country, the impression that I got from like the people here is that regardless of what sector, regardless of like what discipline you try to get in, you really have to try. You have to put that extra effort into and like and you have to really like kind of adapt to this culture and like break boundaries. Like doing that one effort is like re- it's going to set you so differently compared to like other international students here. It's going to make you really competitive.
Mm, true. Coming back to Dishain, Australia after a very intense
Mm-hmm.
conversation, um, this journey of around 8 to 9 weeks, because there was public holidays in
Mm-hmm.
between. Sad, so sad. Everyone missed that. So yeah, my journey of like 8 to 9 months at Disha in Australia was immensely beautiful.
Mm.
I really never thought that I'll be doing my own show in the second semester itself.
Mm.
It was so random. Puneet was my producer. I met him in the kitchen the night before, actually signing up for my show,
Mm.
asking him if there's like a chance that I can get a show at Varoni. The next day, I get the show at Varoni.
Oh, like sometimes having that one connection, like
Yeah.
having that person who actually really could really connect you and like put you in that position is like so important.
Yeah.
And like really another like going back to our like kind of career thing, like one thing that I really felt like compared to back in my home country is like having the connection is so
Yes.
important here.
Mm.
Like it really would like get you so far if you just have that one connection. So I guess make friends.
Yes.
It's gonna get hard, but like it's make friends.
Yeah, absolutely. I think connections are so important, especially in Australia. Like I told you about my first job,
Mm.
I got it through a recommendation. I got it because my friend told them that I'm superb, which I am, but
Mhm.
like, recommendation. So yeah, I think, and in terms of connection, you never know what a person can help you with.
Mhm.
So yesterday, I mean, I can give a very easy example from yesterday. I was talking about embassies,
Mm.
and there was this guy who turns up, oh, my dad works in the Iraq embassy in Australia. I'm like, what? Okay, I've been in contacts with you for so long time, but I didn't know that.
Well, to be fair, you don't really reveal like your parents' jobs here because like if I reveal myself, I also work with like not really have a work, but like I'm also part of the international relations society.
Yeah.
I really love the embassies here. So like I remember actually listening to you say that yesterday, and I was like, interesting.
Yeah, because I actually had a connection with the Department of Foreign and Trade Affairs in
Mm.
Australia,
Oh.
who connected me to the
Mm.
embassies.
Oh, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
Because like if you think about it, like the guests here, like the guests that I've like recommended to you, those are possible because like me and Disha, we are connections. And like I guess like having that like kind of like not necessarily friendship, but we are friends, but like by the way, like having that kind of connection really doesn't it's like it's gonna help you in like very unexpected ways,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah, I totally agree with
Mhm.
that. I think for me to get connections, so I started my life from scratch here,
Mhm.
and I knew absolutely no one in Australia when I came. No one, like literally no one. And I started from scratch. My parents left me at the Delhi airport, and since then, the journey of 10,000 kilometers, and then after that, I have done it all by myself. So each connection, or like anything I know, or like even with the embassy and like having a connection with Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, it came because I wanted to connect with people.
Mm.
So it also depends on you what you want to do.
Mm. Because like I could really relate to that story over there because like I also like went all the way to high school in South Korea, and like well my parents also dropped me off at like Seoul International Airport,
Yeah.
and like I just like flew like 10,000 kilometers all the
Mm.
way to Sydney, and then a flight to like Canberra. And then
Yeah.
fun story is that like in my the luggage wheels, one of them just broke off. So I just like drag it all the way from like Canberra Airport to the Uber from like I was staying at Wamba back then, so like all the way to Wamba.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
you
that was like
remember.
so irritating, and I cannot believe that was my first experience in Canberra.
Oh my god, see, I found a bomb bam.
Yeah,
Bam
Wamba. Well,
bam.
I don't live on campus anymore because like Wamba, come on, it's kind of I had questionable experiences there, but like I'm having a really good like experience right now living off of campus.
So for me, there's also a funny story
Mm.
because so I booked a Maurice back,
I'm very sad.
yeah, to Canberra from Sydney, which was at 2:25 p.m. I remember exact time.
Uh,
And my flight landed at 1:40.
40, okay.
So I thought that I'll definitely make out. I still have time. I still have 40 minutes. The immigration, they stopped me.
They stopped you, okay?
Yeah, because I am coming from India, so I
Mhm.
have like literally all the spices that ever exist. So they open up my luggage and they're like, they see that declaration thing, and I've literally declared everything. I'm like,
Ah.
okay, I have this, and Indian, please. So they just open my bag, and it's like a paradise of spices
Ah,
from
literally
India.
Indian compact into one bag.
Yeah, you open my luggage, you don't see clothes, you see spices, you see masalas, you
Mm.
see all the Indian food, and they're like, "Ma'am, you didn't bring any clothes." I'm like, "Ah, there are. Wait."
Okay, my question to that is like, are those spices actually available here in like Australia?
Yeah, they are, but
Mhm.
like I didn't know back then because
Mm.
I was like I should be prepared because I can't live on Australian cuisine. I can't live on any other cuisine
Mm.
if it's not Indian.
Ah.
So I had literally everything,
Mm.
all the seeds, all the leaves, literally leaves, everything.
Mm.
So all lentils, pulses, everything,
Mm.
even 1 kg salt, because my parents said that maybe you won't get salt there as well.
Well, it's kind of really like fascinating, like very perplexing to actually think that Disha now is doing a wonderful podcast here at Waroni. And like I really have to congratulate on your current like year with your amazing achievements.
Mm.
Like not only just because of like what you are doing with this podcast, you've done so many things. For example, I know that you were the VP of ISD.
Yeah.
Also, you were elected CHM rep because we ran together, by the way. That's a story for a bit later.
Yeah.
And you're doing like also societies and also like so many different things. And like you're still in your first year, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't like imagine doing all of that in my first year because like in my first year, like my first semester was like just me sitting in the corner of Wamba. And in my second semester, that's when I started to like, crawl out of like my, comfort zone. So if you think
But
about it, like you're already
yeah.
doing a wonderful job. And like congratulations for such a successful podcast this semester.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But also we should like take a moment to appreciate what he is doing,
Mhm.
like being the COSA president.
Mhm.
How does it feel? And also a collaboration with Korean embassy.
That's a
We
really
know
good
that.
one.
We know that.
Well, for those who don't really know what COSA is, well, it really isn't like the largest community in like campus. It's called the Korea Australia Alliance. So it's basically the Korea club of like our campus. We do like a lot of events related to Korean culture.
You also
Like
bought the bottle.
yeah, yeah, we also have like by the way, like free like members can get like free bottles, and really, it has the logo right here on the bottle. So like we do like a lot of like cultural events, basically communication between Australia and Korea. So anything related to like bilateral people to people diplomatic relations. And speaking of the embassy, like it just happened like 10 days ago. This was a project that I was like working on for the past honestly a year. Because like
Oh
a
my
lot of
god.
the embassies here in like anywhere honestly, like they are very conservative, not politically conservative, but like just conservative. They really don't really want to like approach out of their comfort zones, and they don't really necessarily have to do these kind of events because the diplomats will get paid regardless. It's not going to like be an extra line on their CV. They have like absolutely no motivation to actually do it. So actually trying to convince an embassy to do any type of event, it really depends on the embassy, but like it's really hard to do it. Most notably, I remember like my working with like the International Relations Society, the Chinese embassy, and we did like a embassy visit to the embassy. According to like the diplomats at the Chinese embassy, apparently International Relations Society in 2023 was like the first time that a student society approached them in like 10 years, which is like
Oh my
the
god.
Chinese embassy is in fact is one of the largest embassies here in Canberra, alongside the American embassy, by the way.
Yeah.
But like
And
considering how big it is, and like it's embassies just like they are very closed off. So continuing back onto my Korean embassy story, thank God I could actually speak Korean and like actually email them in Korean, and I know how to like write professionally in Korean. I and also like embassies, they are very like their schedule changes all the time. Suddenly they decided to like do a different event. They have different priorities. So it's really hard to actually book like an event with any diplomat from especially the Korean embassy. And it's kind of sad because it's my country. But I've somehow done it for like after emailing them for like a year. They've agreed to like do a talk panel event at Helibo. So what we did like 10 days ago is like I invited two counselors. By the way, a counselor is pretty much like the deputy ambassador of like an embassy. So two of them came. They talked about the Korea and Australia relationship, and they also answered a lot of questions that a lot of like the students had, which was honestly very rewarding to me because like one reason that I actually really came to ANU is for international relations and anything related to diplomacy. And like it's even if it's a tiny bit, it's like me contributing to this like relationship between Australia and Korea. And as an IR student myself, like that is a really rewarding moment, and I really loved it.
yeah. I mean, it was a big moment when I saw it
Mhm.
because I know that embassies do not like really love connecting. They have open days once in a year
Mhm.
because again that connection she
Mm.
only told me about how embassies
Yeah, it
work and
really is.
stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I was like literally standing outside the Republic of China embassy thing that is just right
Mhm.
in front of the Beijing garden,
Mhm.
which I just went
Mhm.
because that person only recommended me that place. And she's like, just give a tour and have them come and talk to us. But major thing is you first have to like do efforts by yourself, like going to open days and be like, oh, we really need your support. Please come.
Like, well, talking about my experience at the International Relations Society, well, if you don't know what the International Relations Society is, we pretty much do embassy events, especially those of like actually going to the embassy. So again, we did the one with the Chinese embassy. I've also helped organize the Japanese embassy visit this year at April. Also, there were like embassy visits to like the Middle Eastern countries and like the other Asian countries as well. Like every year we do like at least like 10 embassy visits. And if I look at like people who we, by the way, in this society, we have like roles dedicated for people to actually contact these kind of embassies.
Yeah.
Looking at their work, they are doing so much. Like, I really appreciate like what we're working with. And it's a really hard thing to actually like anything related to the embassy. Like again, it's like so hard.
True, I totally agree with that. And I think that's a very good initiative because I know that embassies like that the residents of their country at least register them to themselves because in the time of crisis they're our first point of support or contact. But like majority of people do not know about that.
Yeah.
And you actually have to like tell them, oh, just register yourself with the embassy. For example, now the crisis in Israel.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of I know about my country, so there were a lot of Indians who were um, at Israel at the time of crisis, and Indian embassy only knew the people that were registered with them, and they were able to rescue. And for us, like, we consume what media actually post. We do not know what the real thing is going on, so that's why media is supposed to be democratic, because that's what we see. So according to media, whatever amount of like whatever the number they show that these Indians have been rescued with the help of Indian embassy in Israel, that's the only number we see. And I know that there are so many of my friends who haven't registered with Indian embassy. Like, you don't even know how many actual numbers are because media shows half side of the story.
Well, to be fair, there are just so many Indians out there.
Yes.
Like looking at India itself, it's such a diverse continent. Like from like what I've heard from like my fellow Indian friends, it's like somebody from Tamil Nadu is like definitely very different from like someone from Gujarat.
Yes.
Yes, I definitely know Indian geography, by the way.
Oh my god, I was like, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu. I thought that you'll say
Wait,
south.
Keisha, where are you from?
South, north. I thought you'll say like that, but I'm from Chandigarh, UT, Union Territory.
Oh, nice. Because like, well, India, there's like about 2 billion of you guys out there.
Yeah.
And like,
have you been to India though?
I really want to visit India though. I really want to.
Okay.
But like, speaking of the Israel case going on right now, I think one thing we could also like kind of talk about is like also cooperation between like different countries, because like what the Korean embassy in Israel and the Korean Air Force actually did is they sent like a giant plane all the way to Tel Aviv, and they put like 200 Koreans in that plane and rescued almost every single Korean currently situated in Israel. And they had like 50 extra seats. So what they actually did is they actually put Japanese citizens and some, I believe, Malaysian and like some Chinese citizens as well. If you look at that, it's like really like cooperation of the world. And like what I really connecting, just meeting myself actually talking to an Indian if I were back in Korea, honestly.
True, same for me in India. I mean, there are 2 billion people, I agree. But in terms of diversity, India itself is so diverse, first of all. I mean, I go to one part of, like, I remember before coming to Australia, I spent 10 days in South. So I'm basically from North. So not 10, 12 days in South. And what an experience. I can never forget that experience. Also, language is so different. So people from South, they do not speak Hindi, and that's what I speak. So language barriers.
Well,
like,
I've definitely heard that like the Indian languages are quite similar. For example, like Urdu, Bengali, Telugu, Hindi, Tamil, like those kind of languages.
it's not
How similar are they actually?
it's not that similar, to be very
Mhm.
honest. I mean, you can understand a few phrases,
Mhm.
but like if you get deep into the language,
Mm.
they all originated from Sanskrit, by the way.
Mhm.
But the thing is that it's like some words that are very different, and it you can understand the line, but the words are different. So I mean, if someone is saying something in Gujarati, I would obviously understand what that person
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
assuming this is what you mean. And
Mhm.
most of the times I'm right. So
Mm.
words already.
Okay.
And your parents and your grandparents will be watching daily soaps. So it's like, it's embedded in your system.
Mhm.
But I think the language from South, I don't understand a word,
Mm.
because there's also a thing. So the South languages, they're all interconnected.
Mhm.
Languages from North are all interconnected. You can understand the northern languages, even though if you don't speak the same language. Say a person from West, like from Rajasthan, if they say something in their language, I can easily understand.
Mm.
And for Chandigarh also, I shifted there 1 year ago, but I
Mm.
still understand whatever anyone says, even though my language is Hindi, but they speak Punjabi there.
Mm.
So
That's really interesting because, like, for example, like, well, if you just like look at geography, Korea is a very small country, and like if you look at North Korea, by the way, like the language they speak there, it's just a tiny bit different dialect. It's not like a different language like what's happening in India. And I might not understand like one or two like vocab words. Like still like anything that a North Korean would say, I would very understand and I would have no problems on actually communicating with them. So actually hearing that is kind of like very interesting considering how India is the largest democracy on this
yes,
planet. Also like it's a single country and such a large country.
yeah,
I guess one question I really want to ask you is like, as an Indian here, and also like it's Disha in Australia. Think about
yeah.
it. What's like the experience of you like communicating with like other Indians here?
In Australia,
Yeah.
I think it's just the thing in Indians, or we call Desi people,
Mm.
that you see an Indian, you become automatically so happy, you feel like
Mm.
home and stuff. But the thing with Indians here, like people from India, born and brought up in India, but just came to Australia like now,
Mhm.
the feeling and the vibe with those people is different from people who were born in India but brought up in Australia, but
Mm.
are like Indian origin Australians.
Mm.
So the vibe is like pretty different.
Mm.
And you feel like home with people who are on the same page as you,
Mhm.
and you can actually connect a lot with them because they're literally on the same boat. So like
Mm.
we cook the same type of meals. And here, because people are from south, people are from west, people are from Sikkim, the eastern part of India, I've never been to the east, and I get to hear things that I didn't know about India. So
Mm.
like expanding my knowledge about India too. And also I think, um, in terms of an international student, when I speak to another international student, I'm not just speaking to a human, a person, but also a representation of their country, a
Mm.
representation of their culture.
Mhm.
And that's the most beautiful thing. Even
Mm.
though I've not traveled to any other country except for Australia
Mhm.
and like a 6 hours layover in Singapore, I think that I already feel that I've actually had the essence of how it's being around Japanese people. So, like, with my Japanese friends, I have cooked that sushi and
Mm.
oinarisa. I don't
Ah.
know if I'm pronouncing it right. That's what my Japanese friends made. And, like, pucho from the daily groceries, I love
Yeah.
that. And konnichiwa. I mean, like, little things. And then from the Korean culture, kimbap and stuff.
Oh, that's so good, by the way.
Yeah, I love that. And so yeah, and from different cultures, I get to learn different things, and I feel a little essence of that culture. So even though if you haven't traveled, you absolutely feel that essence being international here.
Yeah, I guess it's really a privilege of being in Australia where you could actually experience all that. Like considering that a lot of like the diaspora here, like the immigrants here, they try to not all the time, but like they try to replicate what they have been eating in their home countries, and it's just like I'm really glad that I actually chose Australia as like my place of study. Again, I'm studying international relations, so like selecting a single place that where I could be exposed to so many different things. It's like I think this is like honestly the best option.
Mm.
Like there are options like America where like Canada, but like I guess this is the best option, honestly.
I think I'll agree that Australia is like a wonderful option.
Hmm.
I've always said this, that studying abroad was never a part of my plan.
Hmm.
Australia, I knew nothing.
Mm.
Literally, I'm just here because I didn't get into my dream university.
Oh, is it the Mumbai Institute of Technology or something like that?
No, it's like Delhi
Oh, the
University.
Delhi University. No. Okay.
Yeah, so, but anyways, that was sad.
Well, that
But I
really
got better.
that honestly reflects my personal story here because like I don't come from like an international school in like South Korea, and like I was pretty much ineligible to like apply for any other international kind of programs. So my main goal was actually just to get like a undergrad degree in South Korea, and then if I wanted to move out, I'll maybe apply for like a postgrad
Yeah.
position or like maybe just get a work in a like an international company. But like honestly, I really share a very similar story to you because like in South Korea, it's like really competitive,
Yeah,
just
I
like any
mean,
other Asian
all
country, honestly.
Asian countries so
Yeah,
competitive.
yeah, and just like the Indian like entrance exams, like South Korea also has like a very competitive one. Also, like if there's any our fellow Chinese viewers, the Gaokao exam over there, it's really extreme over there.
I mean,
I just decided, hey, I'll just take this exam. I'll just go to university in South Korea, and we'll just study international relations there. But that didn't work out because like unless you pretty much go
yeah.
to the Delhi University of South Korea, going to like any just like random university with like an IR program really isn't a viable way to actually get a successful career in Korea,
Mm,
which is very sad, honestly.
yeah, true.
So what I decided to do is first, hey, maybe I should just retake the exam. And I was like randomly scrolling on like the internet, and I found this program where you could like apply for American universities.
Mm,
So I was like, so I like watched the video, I read through it, and apparently they have this kind of like explaining session, this kind of like talk session in Seoul. By the way, I'm not from Seoul. So because of that, after I read that, I booked like the talk session, and then I took like the first train to all the way up to Seoul. And then I just like showed up, and I was the first one at that convention center, and they were like, "Oh, the American session hasn't started. Do you want to try the Australian session right next to it?"
don't tell me then you chose the Australian and then you are in ANU.
I was like, well, at that point, I knew that ANU existed. I knew it had a really good IR program, but I just never considered actually applying to this university. So I was like, hey, to like the person who's in charge of the Australian thing, I was like, hey, do you know what ANU is? And they were like, of course. Can I apply? And like the person over there was like, do you have your college entrance exam scores? And there was
Mm,
like they were like very sure that I could actually get into ANU.
mm,
And honestly, like this person really didn't help that much on actually applying for the university. But like I really like to thank this person for actually letting me know that I could actually apply for ANU.
yeah.
But I also got accepted into like several state universities in America. But like, well, America's too expensive. And like if I do want to study IR, especially in the Asia Pacific region, ANU is like honestly the best.
Mm.
Other than Harvard, obviously, but like I think
Yeah, true.
it's like that all happened in like less than 2 weeks. And by the way, I graduated in January of 2022. ANU commenced in February 2022.
And you were in February?
Yes,
Ah,
it's
oh my god.
yeah, because like honestly, my story is very unique because like this method of actually coming to Australia doesn't really exist amongst like Koreans. What a lot of Koreans actually do to actually come to Australia is use like the foundation program. Have you heard about it?
No, I've just heard of exchange.
So basically, have you heard about ANU College?
Yes.
ANU College is basically college here in ACT,
Yes.
but for ANU.
Mm,
So a foundation program exists in other universities, and it's like pretty much for people like international students who really don't have like credentials like ADAR or like
mm,
IB to actually get that credentials here in
yeah.
Australia. That's what most people actually take. For me, I just like applied using this kind of score, which to be fair, with my score, I could have applied for like the universities within Seoul, which are considered quite prestigious. And like if you do have that score, you obviously go to Seoul,
Mm,
not camera. And like one really fun thing that happened like about exactly a year ago, the admissions office here at ANU decided to like do an audit for like all students. So they decided to like pick a random group of students and they decided to go through whether this person came legitimately into ANU.
Hmm.
They've all always like obviously they went through the Australians, and Australians they're easy to verify. The IB system is like international. It's really easy to verify. And going through all of that, on the bottom, there's me, Hyunbin Ryu, coming from South Korea, with this funny score called the CSAT, the Korean exam. So they were like on the email, they were like, "Hey Hyunbin, can you actually send me an proof, like a verified stamped signed proof?" And like they were so vague on like exactly what papers I needed. And I was like, at that point, I actually needed to go back to Korea.
So you went back?
So they like if I really wanted like the papers, I really need to go back to Korea. I was actually planning to go, but like it's they wanted to like verify me within a month, and I was going to Korea like in like more than a month, like beyond a month. So that was like really stupid. So basically, I was like calling the admissions office for like an hour. I was like fighting over that, and I was like, "Dude, it's impossible. This is not fair." And then after that, I went up to their office, and like the guy who's in charge of this actually just like decided to talk to me. And what I did to actually prove this is like I actually went on to like the website where the scores are displayed. And sometimes if you when you access Korean websites in Australia, they don't load.
Hmm.
They
Oh.
take such a long time to actually load. And like showing those actual scores in front of him, like the scores were like just showing one by one by one. It's taking like 5 minutes, and it was like so awkward.
Ah.
It's and like I've while that like during that 5 minutes, I've actually asked the person like, "Hey, did anyone actually apply using this method?" And the guy's like, "Not that I'm aware of." So honestly, like this system, I'm like as a Korean, I'm probably a very unique case because like
Hmm.
using the exact same system, a lot of the Chinese students come here, and the admission office has like Chinese support. They know that the Gaokao is verifiable. They know how to verify it, but they have absolutely no idea how to verify this bastard who just decided to come to ANU.
Oh my
And
God.
by the way, that's the day I got COVID. So that is exactly like that is the day of my international student life by far, as, as what I'll call the worst day.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
This is so crazy. I've never heard a crazy story like
yeah,
this before.
yeah. It's like the fact that I somehow ended up here in like Australia. By the way, I don't have like the international scholarship or like anything like that. I'm paying so much, but like the opportunity to for me to be here, experience all of that, and also go through like the down moments like that, it really built on my resilience. It really built on my patience, and I guess I am really going through the true Australian experience here. I guess.
Yeah. I think for me it was first I okay, DU was my second
Hmm.
dream college, to be honest.
Mm.
There was also one number one, which I got in, but it was not the campus I wanted to go in. So
Ah.
I got into Delhi campus,
Uh huh.
but I wanted the South India
The
campus,
South India campus. Okay.
which was Bangalore campus.
Oh, the Bangalore one.
And I was like, oh no. And then I was not like really concerned about DU
Mhm.
because that was not something I was really looking forward
Mm.
to because I wanted the Bangalore campus. I got into that university,
Mhm.
but like in the Delhi campus,
Mhm.
I didn't want to go there. I was just like, "Ah, this is not what I've always dreamt for." And then
Mhm.
I shifted cities. So I was first in Karnal,
Mm.
and then I came to Chandigarh.
Mhm.
Chandigarh is a union territory, a very big city, and
Mhm. Mhm.
Karnal, on the other hand, is like not that big, but not a small city too. So
Mm.
like just in the middle.
Mhm.
And when I came there, so I hate staying idle. I need something happening in my life. So I
Mhm.
just went, and the first place I stepped, I actually told them, okay, I'm doing IELTS with you guys.
Mhm.
I never checked the second place also. So I just entered. I'm like, okay, I'm doing IELTS with them because I was bored
Mhm.
and I hate staying idle. So like those 4 or 5 hours, it used to be sometimes 4 hours, sometimes 5 hours.
Mhm.
I just That was so fun. It was like a particular escape and like something I really loved. And it was a new city, new people, and um, I was literally in the heart of Chandigarh.
Mhm.
That's why I basically chose that center because it was basically in the heart. So
Mm.
the whole city. I remember the first Tim Hortons that established in India was right under my
Mm.
my what do you call that place? SIEC. So
Mm.
yeah, that was just right under that, and I was like, oh my god, yes, I am literally living the Chandigarh life. And for like right now, if I say Chandigarh to any Indian, they get so hyped because Chandigarh is known for like the most chill place
Mm.
in India, and like you go there and your life is sorted. And Chandigarh and Canberra are so similar
Mhm.
because they were designed by the same man. So like all the
Oh, is this the
trails,
city up like north near
yes.
I believe like near where is it? Kashmir? Like fairly close? Not Kashmir, like somewhere like well, India's a big country, I'm sorry.
I remember last time also when you texted, you said it's near Kashmir, and I said no, it's not near
Oh
Kashmir.
yeah,
Kashmir is
yeah.
like miles away.
Well, I guess well, in terms of Australia, everything's so far apart and it's like miles apart. So like, well, I guess
Yeah,
it's close enough in Australian standards.
I think Australia is different from India in like in terms of mountains. If I say I'm at 10,000 meter height or like
Mm.
anything, in India I can see the whole wild world, and I'll be my parents would be scared for me to go near the edge because there's no way I can be back alive then. But here, I remember I was at Snowy Mountains and they said that, oh, we are at 4,000 meter high. We are 4,000 meter high. I'm like,
Mm.
I can't see anything. It's like plain. What do you mean by 4,000 meter? So, yeah, that's how I feel that it's pretty different. And like, I still prefer Indian mountains because I can
Mm.
actually feel that, oh, I am at some height. I can see the world.
Mhm.
But here, I'm like, it just seems like I'm in Canberra.
Yeah, Canberra's like well, I believe the elevation of Canberra is like around 500 meters, but like still everything around Canberra is quite flat because like I live southbound. There's like absolutely nothing down there, honestly, except for like one Parliament building and like a bunch of houses. It's like so flat there.
Well, to be honest, when I came to Australia and I saw that Australian flag, it felt like, oh no, I'm in a different country because I'm like a true patriotic child. And like for me, my country is like the whole universe. And when I came here and just not seeing the Indian flag for the first time, I was sad. I
Hmm.
was sad, to be honest.
Well, I guess for me, well, this is actually my third country that I've ever lived in. Well, my first country is obviously South Korea, where I was born and where I lived most of my life in. The second country, by the way, is the United States of America.
What?
Yeah.
When?
So it was year one in America, so around 5 to 6 years old. So that I was in the state called Virginia, the western part of it, for
Yeah.
2 years. And during my fifth year of elementary school, that was back in 2012 or something, I've lived like about a year in like Southern California.
Wow.
That's
Dropping random
yeah.
bombs
That
and being
five
like
like when I was
social.
in like in Virginia, when I was like 5 years old, that's where I actually first learned English.
Mm.
That's where I picked up like a lot of my English skills and like I thank God I actually retained most of it still. But
But yeah, I
yeah,
think most of the international students struggle in
it
language.
really yeah.
And I think for Indians too, like, so English is not my first language.
Mhm.
And learning English in India is a privilege because
Mm.
you don't get to learn it
Mm.
until you are in a private school.
Mhm.
So I was in a private school and I was like privileged enough to learn English and also studying abroad. So it's
Mm.
all a privilege and not like something that is granted to you.
Mm. No, I definitely agree because like all of this was actually really possible because my parents are paying for it. And I well, sometimes I do take it for granted, but like I am really thankful that they have the capacity of actually allowing me to explore whatever like I want
Yeah.
to actually study because they really didn't want me to study international relations, Asian parents. They really expected me to actually go through like the STEM route because both of them actually went through the STEM route. And I've decided, hey, parents, I want to study international
International
relations
relations.
and politics.
That's
That
so
was like
fun.
they were actually very perplexed when I actually first mentioned that.
Imagine my Asian parents allowing me to study psychology.
Yeah.
For them, psychology did not existed until I
Mm.
told them, "Oh, there's this field, there's a subject called psychology, and I really love studying in my school." So
Oh
I
my god,
think,
you actually study about the mind? Just think.
I mean, like they were like, "Okay, are you gonna be a doctor of like mad people? How, how are you gonna handle them? They can
Mm,
attack you. This could be a really
mm.
harmful career. Are you out of your whole? Are you out of your damn mind?" Then I took humanities.
Mm,
Another shock. But then I've always been a rebellious kid, so my parents are used to me being taking such risky decisions. So now it doesn't really matter to them, and they're like,
mm.
just do whatever you want to do.
So that's why you're taking so many risky decisions here. Like I really wouldn't imagine myself doing like a podcast here, but like even running for all those positions right now you're doing, Tisha.
Yeah, that's because I mean, like I was not that person in till like year 5 or 6 that
Mhm.
would be taking a lot of risk. But then I was
Mm.
like, small world, who cares? Let me just do what I want to do,
Mm.
and I've been slaying since
Uh,
then.
it's really glad to see like you doing all of the great things.
Thank you
It
so
was like
much.
even for me, like well again, first my year one, semester one, stuck in Wamba. And like my story in semester two is like it's quite a unique because like the first proper interaction that I had with like a club or any society here is this society called the ANU AGS, so the Anime and Gaming Society. That's where I first met the new incoming clubs officer Sungbin,
Yeah.
and a lot of my current like friends that I'm frequently contacting. That's where it's like back then this society was really small, and like we that's where I first actually developed my actually skills to actually run clubs.
Mm.
And based on that experience, that's how I became like the treasurer of IRSOC. Also did IST stuff, COSA president. I think well one last thing we're running out of time, right?
Yeah. But
One
like,
last thing to say to
that's
my
fine.
international students: just try, even though it's like something small like that. Just do it. Anything you're passionate about, please do it. Okay.
I think for getting into like clubs and societies, in my semester one, I was just exploring this is the club that exists on market days and
Mm-hmm.
like actually talking to them what this club is about
Mm-hmm.
and learning about them. I went to AGS, but like with zero background about anime.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean by that?
Mhm.
But then I saw you in that red colored costume,
Yeah, this costume. Yeah.
and I remember Among Us through that.
Yeah.
Like that red guy from Among Us.
That is
I'm like,
literally the worst decision I've ever made in my life. But like,
but that was
whatever.
good. That
Yeah,
was
it
cute.
was funny at least. Yeah, everyone
Yeah.
liked it.
So okay, I have no background of all of this, but like my first semester was just about exploring,
Mm.
which I really loved. But in second semester, I just felt like, how about I try my hand into it, and then for running for VP,
Mhm.
no one. I'm like literally saying no one literally expected I'll be the VP
Mm.
because everyone said that you're running against a third year. There are no chances. Just resign. You can't do that.
But you actually did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like a proud moment for me, and I'll remember it forever because when no one trusts you and you are the only person who
Mhm.
trusts yourself,
Mhm.
you can do that.
Like again, I'm repeating myself. Like this is really especially true for like any international student out there. It's really hard to actually approach anything Australian. It's very new to you. But like get out of your comfort zones. This
Yeah.
also applies to like even domestic students. Just try anything, just like be enthusiastic about it. Maybe you could actually get something, and this could be all on your CV, where like this could be all personal development. So my international students, good luck with your exams this semester, and make sure to actually step out of that comfort zone.
Yeah. And if everyone stops you, you should not stop yourself.
Very
Like,
true. Yeah.
like just create your own story and do not listen to anyone. If you want to do something, just do it. And there have been times when I've failed.
Mhm.
And I used to be so scared of failures.
Mhm.
I thought that they were my biggest fear. But now I feel that it's so beautiful when you actually embrace your fears and failures as well. So, like wearing them as ornaments
Mhm.
and not as something that you should be ashamed for. I can still say that there are so many positions that I've lost, but I think I lost them so that I could find something better.
Mm.
And that's what we are ending the Shine Australia with
Exactly.
my battery gone,
Uh,
time running. And
Yeah.
also the Shine Australia has been a beautiful journey for me, and it will definitely be an experience I'll remember. I still remember people just stop me and say, "Oh, you are Dishain Australia."
Well, Disha, on behalf of like all of the audiences here, I really want to thank you for a really amazing talk show. I really love that there's like a show that actually represented like international interests, and like a show that actually like showed like what kind of like international students could actually go through.
Yeah.
And like you did such a great job, and like congratulations.
Thank you so much. And to everyone who got excited for my show every Monday 6 p.m. and everyone who ever tuned in, thank you so much. You don't even know how much this means to me. And to everyone who supported throughout the journey, it has never been about the titles for me. It has been about the love and the work. And thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Much. Yeah. Thank you, Yunbin, for being a part of the finale episode.
Thank you, Disha, for a wonderful show again.
And with this, we conclude the Shine Australia for semester 2 2023 in Australian National University. And I hope ANU would never forget us.
No, like they should never forget us, obviously.
Yes, never. The Shine Australia has to be there forever. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
I can't say I'll see you next week. Sad.